Hi guys, welcome back, BushCraft family, with another video. Here we go. I've done some research on this. I've actually had a couple books that I got a lot of this information from. Some books that date back to early 1900s to 1800, late 1800s. And it was to do with a couple little things, not only medical type stuff, but just plain old food. I'm going to give you a list of plants that soldiers during Civil War would keep their eye open for. Now, it was estimated over 3 million soldiers fought in the Civil War. This was, there was no massive amounts of food stored up somewhere, and MREs and all that stuff. Generally, soldiers were provided hard bread. If they were lucky, they would get bread that was soft for making sandwiches or something. Salted or fresh meat was not common. Beans, peas, rice, cornmeal, molasses, those little things, and that was not like a normal thing. They were probably, if lucky, it was hardtack, which was the hard bread, and that's what soldiers during the Civil War would live on. Now, that didn't mean when they were marching through areas or, patrolling or whatever the case, if they found something growing wild that they knew was edible or they could use for medical purposes, they would take the time and dig it up or pick it. And some of these, are common today that many of us overlook because they're just weeds. It's just something mixed in with the grass or alongside of a field or a pond or something like that. So here we go. We're going to go start with cattails. Cattails are edible. The young bottom parts of the cattails plus the root are edible. It's, something they would see alongside of a pond or something. The younger cattails that are coming up, you could eat the whole stem of it. Once they start growing, after a while, they get really woody and hard, so it wasn't perfect. But again, it's just what they looked for, stuff like this. Another thing is sumac berries. The plant sometimes you don't want to mess with because you can poison sumac. You can not good, but the berries. Now, if reading sumac triggered a warning light in your head, that's because white or green berry sumac are poisonous. If you look for the red ones, see, this is the thing with doing research on plants and things, because normally if you find a good plant, it has something that looks like it that is poisonous. And I'll point this out a few times when we get through this list. But like I said, this is these berries are edible. They can be soaked in water. It's a good source of vitamin C. It got a distinctive taste. I'll just leave it at that. Another thing that they would look for would be pine. Usually white pine, because that's some of the better. But just the pine needles alone can be used as a tea. They both have nutrient, and it's used for medical purposes. Pine needles contain 4 or 5 times more vitamin C per volume than oranges. Go figure. And you just put them in there, water for tea. Boil some water, because if you're already boiling water to make it clean, sterilize it or whatnot, then tossing some pine needles in there. It's a good source of vitamin C. Not only that, it has a lot of benefit. It's good for respiratory. You can also look for sap on a tree. There's so many things. It's good for treat infections that you would use for antibiotics and stuff like that. And next one here is, again, it's also medical, and it's also, for food. Wild garlic. From the root to the tip of the green bulbs, everything's edible on this. Medically, it's to reduce blood pressure and cholesterol. You can just imagine some of the soldiers out there are under a lot of stress and during this time, and if they could lower their blood pressure, that was something good to grab. It's also good, just benefit for your immune system. I use garlic today still for to boost my immune system. Next one is everybody kind of figures this one. Dandelions, and again, dandelions is edible, and it's medical. The leaves provide vitamin A, C, and K, iron, calcium, magnesium, potassium. I mean, the stuff, it's edible from root to flower. It can be dried, it can be eaten like a salad, it can be cooked. You got it. You dry out the root. It can be made into coffee. Medical uses for dandelions. Good for liver health, stimulating your appetite, which more than likely they didn't need, but sometimes people did get sick. It's a diuretic. It's good for treating skin, treatments for the skin, digestion issues. It's hard not to think of a dandelion when it comes to stuff like that. The next one is, again, this is a medical and edible. Chickweed. Chickweed, everybody complains about it being in your yard, you have to pull it up, and chickweed is a essential vitamin source, A, B, and C. Very versatile plant. It's, you can eat it raw, you can boil it, you can eat the entire plant. Again, very versatile plant. I got a helicopter taking off over at the hospital. Chickweed has an anti-inflammatory properties and can be used to treat rashes, sunburns, insect bites. It's good to, if you splinters, you just mush it up and place it over where wood or any kind of thing that would be stuck in you and stuff like that, and it actually draw it out. I've had splinters that I've put chickweed on, and it just draws that splinter right out of your skin. And here we go with mullein. Yes, mullein was very important for all kinds of purposes. One, it was used as toilet paper. Nice, soft, furry leaves. But it is also very important to treat things medically. Really good for, and again, it's one of those from root to flower that is usable. It's made into teas and tinctures, and it's just good for colds and coughs by itself. Your asthma, bronchitis, that kind of thing. Also, the flowers are anti-inflammatory and antibacterial, which is helpful for treating ear infections and skin conditions, burns, wounds, rashes. You know, you could go down the list for this stuff. Not only just dry out the leaves, you could it would be smokable. And this, like if you had bronchitis or any ailment in your throat or lungs, smoking it would be a fast, easy way to get the properties out of it. Next one, edible and medical again. Blackberries. This is just a given. I mean, anybody sees a blackberry along outside of a walk or something that you're hiking through the woods and stuff, see a blackberry, that's one of the first things you nibble down. And they're high in vitamin C, K, fiber, antioxidants. They can be eaten fresh, cooked, baked, or even preserved for later. The leaves are known for astringent properties. They're used in teas. They're good for sore throats, diarrhea. The roots are even more potent and treating diarrhea and dysentery, which was common in Civil War camps with poor sanitation. I'm kind of talking about it last night, how bad the conditions were and stuff. So you can imagine being able to get a hold of some of this stuff during those times. Our next one is yarrow. Now, yarrow, I tend to tell people, unless they really know what yarrow is, to stay away from it. And it's just because its look-alike is so deadly, and it's poison hemlock. It looks very similar, and there has been people that mix the two up if they don't know what they're looking for. I mean, if you know what the difference is, it's very easy to tell the difference. But again, if you don't know, you need to have somebody teach you or do a lot of research. And it's a very important plant. Yarrow is a versatile plant. It can be used to treat a big range of ailments. The leaves can be crushed into the wounds to promote clotting. you got to know this is some of the things that the doctors even used during the Civil War, combined with its antibiotic properties. It makes an ideal treatment for wounds. Anti-inflammatory properties make it effective for treating pain, sore muscles, even arthritis. When brewed into a tea, yarrow can reduce stomach cramps, gastro disorders, treat diarrhea again, stimulate appetite. Yarrow is one of those good plants. But again, you have to know the difference between the plants. Again, unfortunately, yarrow can be easily mistaken for poison hemlock. That is why, you know, if I was like a doctor or something and I would actually, during these times, not now, during these times, and they would send people out to look for this stuff. This would be a plant that I would want to make sure I seen in person and harvest myself. I wouldn't want somebody else to mistake it for, poison hemlock. The perfect thing would be to get your own seeds and grow it yourself. Have it in a certain area that hey, I planted yarrow there. That would be the perfect thing. But let's go ahead and move on, shall we? Next one, you know this one, plantain. Plantain is a leafy plant that it's not the banana. Everybody thinks that the plantain is that big banana. It is, but there is also a plant that grows in your yard most of the time that everybody just, gives it medical things, or I mean, not medical, poisons and stuff to get rid of it out of your yard. Weed killer. I'll get it. They put weed killer on it to get rid of it because, it's an ugly weed. No, that is a very important weed plant that was used in those times. It was crushed, chewed up. The leaves can be applied to wounds, insect bites. It's effective for healing. It's anti-inflammatory, I forget what the word is, but I mean, the properties effective for treating skin conditions and rashes. It's nothing better. And it's one of those plants that you would almost bet that if you've seen what was in a Civil War soldier, he would have plantain in his, carried along with him, just for properties like this. And it's been used for way back in the beginning time. It was even mentioned in far back as the Trojan War, 12,000 BC. They talked about plantain. So it's one of those plants to look for when you're out and about. Even just looking in your yard, say, oh, there's that. And it's these things that the knowledge of this the knowledge of these plants are more important than because anything ever happens to where you can't go to the doctor or whatnot, these things are important, because how else would you break out in a rash or you cut yourself and then you need to stop the bleeding and dress the wound and whatever. You believe it or not, just some plants alongside the road can save your life. And the more you know about these types of plants, the better everybody would be. And there are some people that, don't believe in the doctors or the medical system, because it's give you a pill for this and then give you 5 more pills to cover up the side effects of that one pill. And then so on and so on and so on. So there's a lot of people that just don't do the doctor thing. They treat themselves. And I'm not saying to do this because I'm not a doctor. This is just, for educational purposes only. I hope you found this entertaining. I came across some books and I was reading them, and a lot of this information was in these books. Some of them almost 100 years, over 100 years old, talking about what soldiers would eat and use for medical purposes in the Civil War. And you never know. That stuff could come in handy. So it's good to learn this stuff. Until next time, like always, God bless.